everybody. It's Derek Smith with Resource Innovation Institute. We're down in LA at Stiiizy's headquarters, looking at water conservation practices and really putting a spotlight on Stiiizy's leadership in creating a more sustainable future for the industry. At RII, we work with growers and vendors to exchange best practices and create an ongoing dialogue about how we transition this industry to doing things more efficiently and ultimately creating a more resilient future for the industry overall. I'm really thrilled to be here today with Marielle from Grodan and Carlos from Bear Ag, and ultimately Sean OG from Stiiizy to have a great conversation about water conservation. Marielle?
Hey everyone, I'm Marielle Taft, one of the technical advisors with Grodan in North America. I spend my time visiting commercial cultivators and operators all throughout the US and helping them refine irrigation and crop steering strategies and devise ways to maximize their efficiency, maximize their sustainability without compromising quality or yield in their production.
Hi everyone, my name is Carlos from Bear Ag. We focus on irrigation fertigation solutions. That is our specialty. Most recently, we were very focused on water sustainability and trying to see if we can solve this problem that we're all facing.
So y'all, California is in a historic drought. All 59 counties are in an emergency situation. You know, there's a lot of organizations, a lot of companies, a lot of industries that could do a lot more on water conservation, especially with what's going on and where the future is headed for humanity. Why is this an issue that cannabis can lead on, and how can cannabis lead on it?
I think that it's really important that as we continue the development of the cannabis crop as an agricultural crop, that we continue to position ourselves as leaders in the marketplace. Cannabis being a high value cash crop the industry has the ability to absorb some of this R&D that is required to create these new technologies to really take us to where we need to be as humanity.
So Derek, you mentioned that every county in California is in emergency drought regulation right now. I also read not long ago that we just experienced the driest January and February on record for California history, which is quite scary. And we talk a lot about the fact that agriculture utilizes a lot of water and is affecting groundwater and surface water volumes that are available. But you and I have spent years talking about the fact that there are also cascades of secondary effects in terms of water quality that we're experiencing from the reduction of groundwater volume. So the volume is smaller, it's less homeostatic, it's more subject to temperature fluctuation. So with increasing atmospheric temperatures, we're seeing all kinds of secondary issues, like I mentioned, in terms of less dissolved oxygen available in the groundwater, which is increasing pathogen pressure for growers everywhere in terms of waterborne pathogens, Pythium, Fusarium, Phytophthora, things like that. We're also seeing increases in salinity in groundwater. And so the water we're pulling out is decreasing in volume, but also in quality. But then cannabis itself is discharging quite a bit of effluent from plant runoff, from condensate. And we've talked for years that there has to be a better way to close some of the loop on these water systems and limit the discharge, limit the effluent of both runoff and condensate. So I want to talk to you because this is your specialty. What are the solutions?
Well, we have to come up with a closed loop system, as Marielle mentioned. So for us, that journey started 5 years ago, and we're happy to inform that through many years of research, many years of working with growers and cultivators and experts such as Marielle, we've been able to put together our own engineering team and actually find a solution to this problem, because the solution is definitely out there. We really believe we have found that in Tru-Zero. So Tru-Zero is a multi-pathway process water treatment system. And so Tru-Zero, what it does is it captures all of your condensate from HVACs, dehumidifiers, and sterilizes that, filters all biologics, sterilizes it, and essentially creates clean DI water.
So the traditional methods of recirculation and using a small proportion of makeup water with freshly balanced nutrient solution haven't been adopted in a widespread fashion in this industry. How is Tru-Zero different from the traditional recirculation systems that you see?
Yeah, so the biggest difference between Tru-Zero and any other system out there is at the end, our brine is distilled in a proprietary manner, which allows us to remove 100% of the solids while retaining 100% of the water.
The premise is zero water discharge. Unlike your traditional RO, unlike your traditional membranes, we're talking every ounce, every milliliter of water that enters this skid, enters this system, comes out as DI filtered and sterilized water. Is that the gist?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
So every ounce, every gallon of water that enters a system, enters a facility, never leaves.
Have you seen that Substrate Choice in any way affects the efficacy or the efficiency of these systems?
Absolutely. We definitely see traditional soils and substrates obviously reach tannins and organics and just large particular sizes that plug filters. So anytime we have run tests, we always get the cleanest and best results and more longevity when working with rock wool.
I would love to hear a little bit more about what the implementation of this unit is going to look like and what Stiiizy is expecting to see in terms of results, efficiency, efficacy, and we're super lucky to have Sean from Stiiizy here with us to talk about the very first Tru-Zero system going in. Welcome, Sean.
Sean here from Stiiizy.
Thank you so much for inviting us to your facility. Thanks to Stiiizy for your leadership, your innovation, for taking risks, and most importantly for your transparency. Can you just speak a little higher level about why does Stiiizy care about water conservation? Why are you doing this? Why are you taking these risks, changing your practices, and evolving as a company?
Mother Earth, right? We all got to play our part, and I think with what we've been doing throughout the years of growth and understanding what we have to do to save and protect what we have, recycle as much as we can. I have my kids. I teach my kids how to recycle at a very young age, so they understand what we have here is not just take. We also got to give back.
So amazing you have the community focus that you do, and your community here is in crisis in LA, right? In California. All counties are in emergency water crisis. So tell us now about how you can help lead the way out of this crisis by what you expect from this Tru-Zero transition.
So when me and Carlos have been working on a lot of co-designing stuff, developing a lot of efficient ways of delivery methods, as simple as a foliar spray, right? Take away the human error out of it and be able to create automatic foliar sprays where we could control the amount of water that's going to be dispersed, how fine the water is going to come out of those lines. And we have a couple of projects in Needles that we're building, and it's the desert. And what we want to make sure that we're able to conserve as much water as we can. And that's when Carlos, threw the idea out. He's like, hey, how would you guys like to co-develop something or build something out we have this idea that we can work together and, be the first ones to put it out. And I said, brother, I'm with you, let's do it.
So what does it look like for you guys to start implementing this? I know it's going to involve condensate recapture. I know it's going to involve runoff recapture. I know it's going to involve drawing less from your cities, from your wells. What are you hoping to see when you implement this? And what do you think you can tell the municipalities about where you're operating, about what you're doing and how you're impacting water sustainability?
Funny how you say condensate water.
Yeah.
Just the first location that we're going to put the Tru-Zero in is we're going to get 9,000 gallons of condensate daily.
In our ability to capture condensate and runoff, we're seeing water consumption reduction by 2/3. That's really what we're anticipating. So you go from a facility expecting to use 20,000 gallons a day down to roughly 7,000 gallons a day.
Carlos, thank you so much for coming on to talk about what Bear Ag is doing for water conservation and what Tru-Zero is going to do to revolutionize closed loop water systems.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for Stiiizy for being such a great partner.
Cool. So Sean, there are a bunch of other sustainability initiatives that Stiiizy is clearly working on, one of them being LEDs.
Yes.
And LEDs in all the facilities that you're opening up. Can you talk a little bit about what that transition was like and what you're seeing from more efficient lighting systems?
Yes. I mean, 3 years ago, if you'd asked me if I'd ever use LEDs, I'd laugh at you. But today, you know, we have a couple of leaders out in the industry that, like Ivan, that put his time and effort in the R&D of R&Ding some really great lights. Downstairs here at the Stiiizy headquarters location, I have 3 different LEDs running, and we dedicate a certain amount of strains per facility. And I do tests on all 3 different LEDs to make sure to see which one's able to consume better, if it's a double tier, if it's a single tier LED location, because we're maxed out on our canopies. So I do a first test on the strains to see which one's working on. And I mean, I'm getting some really amazing results, and I'm more surprised myself. I don't want to throw out numbers because most people are going to probably think it's not true, but I'm very surprised on the returns, and it's just leading me towards that direction to lead my team in that direction as well. And they're confident in the LEDs. I'm confident in LEDs.
There's one other, element to some of the cannabis sustainability stuff that we've been talking about, which is packaging. Cannabis has such a huge waste problem in terms of, child-proof, compliant packaging. But I heard through the grapevine that Stiiizy has moved to a whole bunch of recyclable products that actually have some end-of-life potential. Can you speak a little bit more to what you guys are doing on the packaging side at the retail?
Absolutely. One of our other partners, James, is in charge. He's in charge of all of that, and he's prior military as well. And one of the biggest things he did is he was trying to cut how much paper we use, right? So we did cut about 25% of the paper that was used in our packaging, and we went from regular packaging to recyclable packaging material. Absolutely.
Fantastic. The last thing I wanted to ask you about is, are you guys participating in Grodan's new recycling program for the foils here in LA?
As a matter of fact, I had a meeting with Akram last week.
Nice.
And Akram did make us aware, which he has been doing every step of the way with all the new Grodan material and all the new stuff, all the new products that they come out with. Yes, definitely we're going to participate.
Sweet. We're really excited to hear that, because that's a program that's been in the making for a long time. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting some of that plastic into a repurposed waste stream.
Awesome.
Sean, thank you so much again for your leadership to date. We're just really excited to stay connected with you and see what the future unfolds and how you're going to continue to lead this industry toward resilience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely be checking back in on you and Carlos when the Tru-Zero systems come up and running.